What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to Streamcast, a show on the internet where we talk about the latest and greatest stuff on streaming services with you guys. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with, what are you this time? Are you the Bard? What are you going to be?
I'm the Bard.
You're the Bard. I'm
Wow.
Geralt, clearly. Do you want to be Siri? No problem. You're Siri.
I'll take Siri.
Siri's actually a badass. Fuck.
Yeah,
you're Queen Calanthe. She's a badass as well. Damn it. Okay, you're Stregobor. Stregobor himself,
Wow.
Sheps. How's it going, bro?
Definitely never talking to you ever again. I hate this work relationship.
We're going to have to... Sorry, guys. Streamcast is over.
I'm doing really good. I really like this episode.
Yeah.
And because now I'm sort of aware of it being not my first watch through.
Yes. It makes more sense now.
It does make a lot more sense. It's a little bit easier to trace where we are in the time of things. It was laid out, but because it's a very unusual way to do it,
yeah,
the first time you watch it, it's not quite so obvious, but it's better now. I do much more. I like the show even more in a lot of ways, and I'm finding the continuous cutting very annoying. But other than that, I still think the show's brilliant, like a 9 out of 10, solid, easy 9 out of 10. How you doing, man? How you finding it?
I'm loving it. You know, while this didn't have the action of the what was the Striga attack, it was very, very cool. It was very cool, and it's the law of surprise thing, and how his tie to Ciri would start. Especially now they're watching it a second time, we know exactly how this is going to go, and Geralt is quite a badass he's a badass in everything.
Yes.
But he lays it down even thicker, especially in that the dinner with the queen.
Yes.
Like, I'm sitting right next to the queen. She's a badass and she's a queen. She can get me killed. I don't care though. I'm Geralt of Rivia. It's really, really cool.
He says this phrase a couple times, I'm not for turning, and what it really means is I know what I like and what I think is right, and I'm going to do it. And when he says I'm not for turning, what he really means is I've made up my mind. I'm not going to do this thing. And like she even says at one point, like, I could talk to you, and he says, that's right, but I'm not for turning.
Exactly. That statement is still accurate.
You're right. Exactly.
Not changing.
which I like a lot. That's funnily enough for me, Geralt's most badass moments in this episode are that scene at the table, and when she speaks to him, when they ask about the elves, and he's like, I got my ass kicked.
Yeah.
I just think those two moments are so awesome.
They are.
It's so good. Should we get into it?
Yes.
Before we get too much further.
Yes.
Into it, even though I just started us down that road, I'm not for turning. And talking of, no, can't transition that at all.
No, it's a bit hard one, that. Yeah. It's about failure.
All of our content across both of our channels and here with the flagship show on the FPN, the flagship show, is made possible by the incredible Super Bros over on patreon.com/conversations. Our Super Bros.
Yes.
Who we really can't say enough good things about. And so I think we should just say nasty things instead.
Just say nasty things to them. Like, give them names. How about that?
We should. Why don't we see what names they have?
Their names are Diogo Dildo, Isak the Ultimate Cumsock, Geralt of Rivia, aka Catsper the Friendly Patron, Record Friction, Dan the Man, Jeremy Renner, that's right, an official Avenger, Martin Scorsese's Master H. Barts 12, the Midget Aloy from Smallville Sabine, the former freeloader Christian, Master Chief himself, Albiscori, Super Sus Ben Fryer, who is a defective clone of Eddie, the Star Wars Encyclopedia, Adam Sunling, Raj Vandalin, he's got a plan, guys, you just got to follow him on one last job, the Filthy FIFA fanatic Joe McCormack, My Juicy Left Nut 69, and Kevin, the #1 simp. Of Xbox. Thank you, bro, so much for keeping the lights and mics on and the streaming services going and conversations.
I just hate that people that aren't content creators, that don't make shows that both get watched and then go up, like for audio only virgins.
Yes, the virgins, yes.
I'm going to get why that's so funny. And for the record, that is very funny. You did it in for the True Game podcast, and it cracked me up. It is hilarious as a bit, but most people aren't going to get why that's so funny.
Yeah, it's just the people who are listening on audio services and who have listened before.
Just going to think their phone died for
They're
no
like, oh
reason.
shit, what happened? Did it disconnect from the car? Did it? My headphones? What's happened to my headphones?
My Spotify or whatever. Yeah,
It's gone. Anyway, thank you, bro, so much for all the support. We adore you. You guys are the best. And
It's true.
yeah, it's good stuff. Shall we talk about some Witcher?
Yeah, boy.
Episode 4 of Banquets, Bastards, and Burials. We open with Ciri in the woods where we left last time.
Yeah, the very cold, that like dusting of snow, making it feel way colder than if it was just like a big, like, you know, in Game of Thrones, they have a bunch of snow in the north.
Yeah,
Somehow this feels colder.
it does.
It's the mud. I don't know, it feels wet as well as cold. It's
Yeah,
awful.
when something's wet
Awful.
and cold as well, it's even worse.
Terrible.
She's in there, and she manages to go through the woods, the clearing that she sees there, and a bunch of tribeswomen are looking at her. She snaps out of her trance that she's in.
So it's not only like they are like cave women type things, but did you notice the season changed?
Yes.
It's like spring or something.
It's like piercing light from the sun coming through, almost like spring.
There's a bunch of weird lens flare lights. Anybody you're looking at is backlit by this really bright like sunlight.
Yeah.
Does anybody know what that's about? Maybe it's in the books and I missed this.
It was written as one line, and the director's just like, right, everything's backlit.
Because
now.
whenever we see the dryads,
Yes.
they are always, every single one of them, or like the group or whoever we're focused on, is backlit by this sun almost. No matter which way they're facing. And there's multiple scenes where you can't see almost anything. It's bizarre. I assume that's on purpose, because everything about the rest of the show has been done on purpose.
Yeah.
But there is one that I didn't get.
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
Yeah, I just don't get it.
She's surrounded by them, and she's trying to like, well, where am I? What's going on? Stuff like that. One woman walks up to her to
Wonder
try.
Woman, yeah?
One woman, just one of them. No
I
other
thought you
women.
said
there.
Wonder Woman.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
So no, I must have mumbled. Wonder Woman walks up to her and confronts her and tries to, and talks to her and tells her that she's in the Broccolon forest.
Yeah, Broccolon.
Broccolon forest,
Something like that.
And we're like, I don't know what that is, but it sounds like a terrible place.
It's
Something's going on in this special forest.
especially the killing grounds outside of it. It's probably not great.
Probably not too great right there. Then we cut to a man covered in blood.
There is one thing I
Go
wanted
on.
to say. That chick that speaks to her,
Yeah.
I was looking at her and thinking, you'd actually be a really good Siri. She just had a Siri look to me.
Oh.
So it has nothing to do with the show or canon or anything.
Oh, you just thought that?
I was just looking at this chick and going, huh, you make a good adult Siri. I wonder if, like, anyway, it was just a weird thought I wanted to say, because it's like, she's just got that kind of look. I don't know why, I just felt like I needed to say it.
I wonder if anyone in the comments would just be like, do
You're
you
an
know
idiot.
what? Do you know, I kind of get it. I mean, there's probably be lots of people that call us idiots.
Majority idiot.
Every episode, there's always that.
Cut to Bloody Villager.
Bloody Villager, and he's telling the story of Skelly Selkimore.
How Geralt died to a Selkimore.
Exactly, died to a Selkimore, which is a big beast apparently that could eat a village up whole. And they called a Witcher, and the Witcher stood out on a frozen lake, and the Skelkimore shot up out of the ice and ate the Witcher whole. Nothing was left of him. And our bard on the side, he's right now, he's like,
He's
ooh, this is great, this is great stuff. Geralt was always stingy on the details, it's so great.
That's
right there.
good, isn't it?
And he goes, and then what happened? It's like, he died, and it's like,
It's fine.
he's all right. It's like, no, I saw it with my own eyes. He died.
This
It's
is
like,
this is one of those things that I feel goes quite well towards the idea that they have. This isn't like a few days later. That they've actually probably been on the road for a fair while together now, where he's seen Geralt go up against stuff that's supposed to just kill him,
Yeah.
and come out on top a bunch of times. Like to hear that someone got eaten whole by something that could eat a village and a Selkimore, and the guy describes a mouthful of devilish teeth and all this
Yeah.
stuff, and to just be like, nah, it's fine.
He'll be all right. Because the only other interaction that we've known of is that he was tied up by some elves
Right.
and then let go. That's
Exactly.
not particularly like he would have
Exactly.
survived the great ordeal.
So to
And
me,
then just after that-
to me, it says they've been together for a little bit
Yeah.
longer. Yeah.
And then just after that, boom, rocks through the door. Geralt covered in crap, covered in the guts of the internal of this Selkimore.
guts.
It's like,
Yeah.
you have to kill it from the inside. And it's like, right.
Right.
And then everyone's really happy. And for this slaying of this creature for this town, everyone must toss a coin to your Witcher, O Valley of Plenty. And it's such a famous song, everyone's singing.
Everyone
it now.
knows it now, which I think goes towards.
Oh, Sorry.
Jaskier being a bard of renown.
Mm-hmm.
However,
However,
I got blue ball from not being able to really hear the song because he gets about not even a full chorus in, and Geralt goes off to the bar or something.
Yes.
And he has to cut it off and go. And I'm like, no, I want to hear the. It's the song. Play me the song.
We need the ending part with the. We need that bit. Come on.
I need to hear the whole song.
Fuck it, I'll tell you what. I'll sing it for you right here. We'll interrupt.
Don't do it.
So yeah, he goes over to the bar, and
Yeah.
oddly as well, I thought they might make more of a point to see like what's in the cup, but Geralt drinks whatever the ale is or something like that, and spits out immediately. He's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Right.
I don't know if it was like maybe the guts got in his mouth as well, or something.
That's how
like
I
that.
took it.
I was just like, "What the fuck?" But he looks at it like almost like an insult. Like he's like,
Right.
"The fuck did you just give me?"
Or do you think he's just like left half a beer and he was like, "I'll be back for this"?
Oh yeah, it's
And-
like, it's warm. Huh? Fucking
Oh, gross. Yeah.
like they had fridges back in the day to do anything, right? Anyway, our bard then goes over to Geralt and says, you owe me. It's like, because you owe me for making you famous. You owe me for making you famous. So I'm going to be...
Doesn't he say like he gets? It's either that he's getting paid more consistently or he's making more because he's famous. It's something like that, but that he insinuates.
I guess, yeah, that's probably what he insinuates. So you're getting more jobs because of everything.
No. That's not that. He says, by rights, I should be taking 10% of your coin.
Right.
But all I ask is this one favor.
One teeny
Yeah,
weeny
that's it.
favor, he
That's
says. And what does Geralt say in return? Fuck off, bard.
I really like it. Geralt.
Fucking savage as hell right there. Bard says Bard says Geralt, his so anyway, basically he needs help with an issue, and they're going to be going to they're going to go to a party together.
He's a betrothal party.
Exactly. They're in Geralt's in a bath, and he's explaining his situation to him.
Yes.
It's very strange because the way that Jeskier is like prancing around him and telling him the story and telling what he needs to do.
He also says, you're going to look after your friend. He says, we're not friends. Oh, you just let strangers rub chamomile onto your lovely bottom?
So weird.
It's so weird.
I don't even think my friends do that.
No, that's a very limited number of people to zero. Actually,
Exactly.
In fact. Yeah,
Look at the whores. They don't even do that. We do other stuff. They don't do that.
it's very funny. And also, like, Jaskier, how do you think bathing works, my man?
Yeah.
But it's very funny, and he basically says, "Look, I'm going to this party." I think he name drops Calanthe,
I think he does. Yes. Sintra Castle. He says.
and he says, basically, I need you to bodyguard for me because I've been around a lot of nobles and their wives and daughters and some of their mothers.
Well, I'm like, Jessica, you getting around.
Yeah, I mean, fair play.
I mean, you just a second ago said that you rub chamomile on a guy's ass, but don't worry, we'll overlook that because you slay impus.
So he needs Geralt in case any of these people recognize him.
Exactly.
And how does he actually get Geralt to agree to it?
How does he?
But Geralt can't say no. For some reason, he's like, okay, I'll come with you, but like I'm not going to kill anyone or something like that.
He's got a Jeskier, while he hasn't got strength, he's got a silver tongue. He can be persuasive.
He does have a silver tongue, and although Geralt seems to find him to be a nuisance, his company, and he's pretty much one of the only people in the area that he's met that treats Geralt like a person.
Yeah.
He actually doesn't treat Geralt any differently to how he treats anyone else, and that's really quite rare.
Yeah.
So that's a thing.
Yeah.
You know.
The next scene is they go to this party. Sorry, I'm not.
They go to the party,
and he's like, he goes in, and Mouse Crag is like,
oh no, Dandelion. No, Jaskier says, Geralt says, why can't I bring my swords? I didn't want you just as this thing. I can't have anyone knowing who you really are.
Yes, that's right.
Geralt of Rivia, the mighty Witcher.
Well, that didn't work out, did it? Now I'm dressed like an idiot.
I just love I love the way he delivers it. And I knew this guy had a name, but we didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know before. It was only halfway through this episode I was like, what's his name? And I wrote down something else, and then I went back and I wrote Mouse Crack. There we go.
Mouse Crack.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mouse Crack. It's something very odd.
It's very odd. It's almost close to I'm thinking ball sack because of the way like wrinkly mice are, like hairless mice.
Right.
But then it's like crack, as in like a butt crack.
Yeah, it's odd.
Strange name. Don't know why I picked it.
Very weird. Here's a weird name.
It's a weird name. Anyway, and then it turns out that this whole party is to have a queen, Queen Calanthe's daughter, married to one of the noble
Suitors,
people.
yeah.
And we see, but wait, Queen Calanthe's dead though. That's what I was thinking at this point.
Right, she is
So,
dead.
so how is that even possible? Oh my God, she's alive! She comes in from battle covered in blood, covered in mud everywhere. Go on.
I actually enjoy the aesthetic personally, but you would think maybe you'd stop off in a shower, like at least wash your face.
What is something, right? Just at least rub your face down. Someone's gonna be like, "Here's a rag wrapped off right there." But she comes in just covered in battle sweat and blood and mud and stuff like that. And oh my God, she's alive. And at this point in the first one, I'm just like, I don't get what the time skip's going on about. Something's
and also,
off here.
it was weird as well because I remember thinking in the first one, like, we didn't meet her daughter because they made a big fuss about Suri being her granddaughter, but it's her daughter. So what is going on? And isn't she dead? And I get that maybe this is a time skip, but why weren't we told this was a time skip? Because how does Geralt know Jaskier now if this is a time? It was very odd, but seeing it back, I feel like it evens out. It makes a bit more sense.
It makes a bit more sense now,
but
for sure.
At the time going into it, especially because it all came out at once, you never got time to process it. You just binged like 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah.
It's better now.
Yes.
It's good.
Then the party gets going. The Jaskier starts to play some music on the side. The queen is cleaned up a little bit, and 2 lords start having an argument about a manticore that they both allegedly killed a manticore, and they're trying to prove to each other whether or not they did. And both of them are giving descriptions of these manticore, and both of them are different. Like one's got these huge hooks on the side.
Right.
One's got this, and they're like, no, you've never seen a manticore. And the queen says, well, we actually do have an expert here, Geralt of Rivia, Witcher. Why don't you confirm which one is the truth? And Geralt goes, neither of them have killed a manticore.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? And they're like offended because they're about to get caught out on their lie. They're like,
but I think Geralt catches Jaskier out of the corner of his eye. He's like, come on, Geralt, like freaking like, and then he kind of, you can tell it's an effort, but he's like, maybe they encountered some rare subspecies.
yes.
And like, that makes it so that both of their lies can fit.
Yes. And it kind of makes Geralt look stupid, like he doesn't really know. Like, oh, he's never encountered this manticore before. He must not know his trade, when that's really everything he does.
Yeah.
He should be. And then I like this next scene. But then afterwards, was it the
So there are a
truth.
couple of scenes. I think we'll do a lot of the party,
Cool.
and we'll do a lot of the next thing.
Let's do that.
Because otherwise it just jumps around too much. Like it does in the show, it does jump around too much.
Yeah.
Calanthe says, or someone says something about elves and Geralt knowing how to kick an elf's ass or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what happened to the thing? And he says, no, actually, I was tied up and got my ass kicked by a bunch of starving elves, and I was about to have my throat cut when Philavandrel, I think is his name, let me go.
But the song. And then the Jaskier's like, but the song, Geralt, the song. And then he just sort of like lets it go by the side.
The best thing is he like drinks his cup.
Yes.
Because of everyone here, at this point, Geralt's about 90.
Yep.
Geralt is very old. If you don't catch it, I think actually Jaskier asks him in that bar scene, what do you want to do when you get old or retire and stuff? And he says, witches don't retire. When they get old, they get slow and they get killed.
Yeah,
that's how they die. They don't die of natural causes. And I think they can't. Or it's not known how old witches can get because they eventually die in the line.
Right.
But I think the oldest known witch was like 500 years old. It's very, very, very old. They don't age anywhere near like Vesemir is like closing in on 150 or something by the Witcher 3.
Doesn't look a day over 25, the bastard.
Right. So like Geralt is somewhere in the 60 to 90 range. Spent his whole life fighting. He knows violence. And he's not worried about impressing these douchebags.
That's the thing.
He says, hey, I got my ass kicked, and just drinks.
That's the thing that's really cool about it, because he actually doesn't care what any of these guys think. He doesn't care about what anyone thinks, because at the end of the day, he knows the level of badassery he is, and he knows what his role is in the world, and he knows that he doesn't want to make friends, anything like that. So when he lays out the truth, he doesn't care. It's great. It's beautiful.
And all the greatest fighters and warriors and conquerors and stuff all had victories and defeats.
Yes.
And that was one of his defeats. Why lie about it? He doesn't. Also, has nothing to prove. Doesn't care what these people think about him.
Yeah.
Why lie about it?
I mean, he's not even there by choice. He's just there to protect Jeske.
Exactly.
So anyway, the Queen, however, likes him.
Yeah.
Quite likes his honesty and stuff like that, and asks to have a seat at her table next to her on the right hand side of her, which is a great honor, to be honest. So he accepts and whatnot. And the Queen starts to talk to Geralt and starts to get on. I like the way the conversation that these guys have. It's very, very cool, because she's very much like, I'm not really like the typical queen that you guys know. I prefer battle. I prefer violence. And I prefer being real. I'm a realist in this world right here. And Geralt, he's not like a normal lord. He isn't a lord. He's not like a normal nobleman or anything like that. He's a man of himself. He's a witcher. He's Geralt of Rivia. Now, he's not the same as the Queen, but the difference from everyone else, she sees as a commonality right there.
Well, she sees that he spoke the truth because, one, he doesn't care what people think.
Yes.
And two, like, he doesn't need to care what people think, because one thing you know about witches is, even though like they can be defeated and stuff, they spend their life fighting monsters, all of them.
Yeah.
So she knows he's a badass, and she's a badass, and he doesn't care what these people think, and he cares more about like speaking plainly. And that's what she says about battle as well. She says, I prefer battle. There's a simplicity to it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can't lie in battle. You either win or you lose.
Yeah.
It's simple. And that's something that she likes and sees in Geralt. So in that sense, they're like birds of a feather.
Yeah.
But she is also a political animal.
Yes.
And he's not.
He's not at all. She tries to talk to Geralt and get him on her side in case things get messy in this brunch that they're having right here. And because there's a lot of powerful men and a young lady on offer, and things get heated very quickly. She casually says that when the time comes, surely the Queen can count on him by her side. And Geralt declines.
Yeah.
Several times. She tries to beat down and tries to get more, but he's just like...
Yeah, he says, I'm not a mercenary, and I don't like fight people over petty squabbles, something like that.
Yeah.
And
over the fights of men or something like that. Yeah.
And she says, I could order you. And he said, if I was one of your subjects.
Yeah.
So I could torture you ever so slowly. Yep.
You could.
But I'm still not for hire.
Still not for hire. And the balls on Geralt of Rivia at this point. The reason why he can't get up and walk away is because the balls don't let him.
Right.
It's just too heavier at this point.
They're just too heavy. So how he gets his trousers on.
Don't know how he does it right there.
That's why he needs Jaskier for the help.
Exactly. Can you rub some chamomile on my balls, please? Thank you very much. We then cut to Yennefer. She's in a carriage.
There is one thing. There is a couple of Ciri things. Ciri speaks to Dara.
Oh yes, in the forest.
Yeah. And the Dryads say, like, you need to drink the water of this place, and if you have any ill intent, it's going to kill you.
The shit, right? I mean, the thing is, they don't have anything to hide, but they're like, if there's even an ounce of ill intent inside you,
death,
and you have no choice, you have to drink it.
Yeah.
It's like,
we're going to kill you if you don't. But also, like, don't you think that might make you harbor some ill will, being told you're going to get murdered unless you drink this unknown liquid?
Possibly, right?
But so that's a thing.
That's a thing.
And also, I think somewhere in here, Dara, Ciri comes out to Dara that she's Princess Cirilla.
Yes.
And he kind of is like, well, your family or your grandmother murdered everyone I know.
And this has one thing that really stuck with me. Grabbed babies by their ankles.
He says her men laughed, but never harder. Like, they laughed when they were killing men, women, and children, but never harder than when they grabbed baby by their legs and swung them, dashing their brains out, something like that.
Oh!
Awful.
I mean, you don't think of war as, like, really dark, but it is dark.
Yeah.
And that's as dark as it gets right there.
It's crazy. The one thing that I don't buy about that whole interaction is Dara's like, look, let's just drink the water. Because they then say, like, the more of the water you drink, it will make you forget everything and you can just be with us.
Right.
And then Dara then learns that she's Princess Cirilla. And it's like, just come and drink the water. We'll forget everything and just live here.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. It's a bit weird.
Other than that,
I was so passionate about this, but I just forget him. We're cool.
Then we
Right.
cut to Yen.
Then we cut to Yen, and she's in the back of a carriage with a queen and her baby. And apparently, this is the queen of the king that she's been assigned to, and she's supposed to be protecting and whatnot. But you can tell she's very, very bored by the whole situation. She's just looking off to the side.
They do mention that this is her second female child, her second daughter or something.
Yes. The queen that's got the baby knows that she's supposed to bear her king a boy, and she hasn't been able to yet.
It's also one of her complaints, which is her worth is determined by what she can produce for the king.
Exactly.
Like she says something like she's there for breeding or something like that.
Yeah.
And because they get onto this whole, like, she says she envies Yennefer, and because people, when they look at her, they see her, and when they look at the queen, they see what she's giving the king or something like
what
that.
she can produce and whatnot.
And then Yen complains, which again I don't love about this version of Yennefer, about, she says, I love that I gave up everything I gave up for this power. I love, it's tongue in cheek. I love that I've been stuck at this court. I love that I'm on these babysitting missions.
And this is what I've become when I was like,
Right.
She has this lust for power, and she's just doing nothing.
Right.
But the carriage and all the men and all the guards get attacked by something. Whatever it is, it sounds very sharp. And
It
there's
does
knives as
sound
well.
very sharp,
And then there's, let me do that one more time. That's what knives sound like, by the way.
Sounds sharp, yeah.
And then there's like knives poking in from each side of the carriage. And
Yennefer opens the thing and looks out. Did you notice anything about this, by the way?
Go on.
She opens the thing and looks out, and on two different occasions we see two different people getting killed by unseen blades.
Iced.
Did you notice that the blood splatter, which I think is actual, I forget what it's called, but it's physically there. They're throwing blood effects, like fake blood, comes from the wrong direction on both occasions.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it bugged me because there's a guy who gets slashed and goes this way, and the blood goes that way. Comes from the wrong side of the screen, but and it's like a half second late as well. But
I didn't notice that. No,
it's just funny.
I was too busy thinking about what's gonna shank her in the vaginal area.
Well, talking about what is going to shank her.
Yes.
They get out of the carriage.
Yes.
Her, the queen, that's Yen, I should say, the queen and some random guard. And
Yep.
they look, and there is a villain with his pet bug dog,
Cockroach.
blade roach.
Something. Whatever it is, it looks scary. It's too big to be a bug that you can squash,
Faux show.
and it looks very sharp.
Like, it's part giant radioactive cockroach.
Yeah.
Part Scyther from Pokemon.
Yes, that's it. There we go.
It's nightmare fuel is what it is.
Proper nightmare
And
fuel.
fear in the mouth. All it has in its mouth is just fear, not even teeth. Just fear. It's awful.
And then the cockroach, the guy in the black robe, orders the cockroach to go and kills the guard in front of them.
Yeah.
And it's brutal. It's fucking brutal right
It's
there.
rough.
It's got like blades on its hands, like proper mantis blades, and stabs that thing. They start to run off. Yen opens up a portal
Yep.
to get them out of there, which works for a moment. Then, oh, God. So what the hell was that? And it's like,
So they portal, I forget where.
yeah, the first one, I forget where they go. They go somewhere.
Yeah,
but they
go
hop
somewhere.
around a couple times.
So they go to the first place, I forget.
Yes.
And then the guy appears.
Yeah.
And she portals them again and starts like pulling at the queen's jewelry.
Yeah.
And says like,
I think in the first one they say it wasn't after me, because the queen incorrectly assumes that the guy's after Yen. It's like, no, it's after you because you haven't been able to produce a male heir for the
she
king.
says, it looks
That's
like
an
you've
assassin.
run out. Yeah, it looks like you've run out of time.
Yeah, and then they skip to the second place, and Yen immediately realizes like they're tracking us.
Yeah.
So starts ripping out all her jewelry. It's like, what has the king given you? Pulls off her necklace, and then again, out of nowhere, appears the man and the giant cockroach thing. They have to run away.
Also,
there is a cool...
I feel like this is in Blaviken.
It seems that
Like
way,
it's
right?
raining, it's down those like villages. It's
To be fair, a lot of places look like that at that time.
It makes sense that they would use the same set. Why not? But it feels like that same place where Geralt fought those guys in Blaviken, that exact same area. I don't know why. The guy sends the cockroach after her. She makes portal with one hand and like...
slows down
It's
time on the
sick.
other side, and the thing's like...
It's cool.
And it's like, I can't hold it forever. Jump through the pool. And then she jumps through as well. And they make it out of there again. And they're in some like next place, I don't know, on top of like
a mountain or something.
Yeah, it seems like a mountainous area. And the queen takes off more items, more jewelry and stuff like that and breaks them. And they think they're safe for a moment.
Yeah.
But then again, out of
the
nowhere.
guy turns up again.
Again. With the pet cockroach standing side by side.
But Yen, being the hero that she is,
yes,
ducks out.
To be fair, the stupid queen, the only person that was helping her was Yen.
Yeah.
Then she turns around like, get up and protect me, you stupid bitch.
Witch. She does say witch.
I just say, I thought I heard bitch. But I was like, well, fuck it, I'm out of here then, innit? You know, I ain't being appreciated. I don't need to be here. Right. I don't need this.
Like, you think I want to face down this nightmare-fueled robot freaking
After it kills you, what's things gonna do? Clean up the mess. Kill me as well.
Right.
Fucking hell. Anyway,
this is weird though. She teleports away to like a field of flowers.
Yes.
And then comes back.
Yeah, so in between that time, the queen sort of like gives up the baby and says, there, take her. I promise I can produce an heir. I promise I can, a male heir. And the guy just pulls out a magic blade that goes flying across the screen, slices her neck open, comes back, and...
Definitely don't feel bad about this. This queen's a bitch.
Exactly. And just as the guy was the cockroach to go kill the baby, just as he's going to kill the baby, the cockroach slices off his own head.
Yeah.
You're like, what? Yennefer comes back, apparently controlled it to tell it to do that. And Yennefer takes the baby.
I wonder if maybe she went to get, if those flowers are magical. Like she went to get something that would allow her to gain control of the monster thing.
Whatever it is, it wasn't... If that was the case, it wasn't shown at all.
I agree.
And if it was the case of she had second thoughts and maybe didn't think an innocent baby should die, that wasn't communicated as well.
I totally agree.
It does lend a little bit more to that idea afterwards with the whole burial thing, but it wasn't communicated too well.
I agree. Visually, we have no idea. She just leaves and comes back, which doesn't make sense because if she's going to come back, why waste the energy to leave?
Yeah.
So it's a bit odd.
She comes back and she grabs the baby, and just as she's like, all right, I've got the baby, I'm going to leave in another portal.
Yeah.
She's about to jump through, and the guy sends that magic blade again through. It goes straight through her shoulder, and boom, she goes through the portal.
Yeah.
We'll do the next bit as well of to rush it all up.
I feel like it makes more sense for us to cover what happens to the individual characters because they're not intersecting, so it doesn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When she gets through the portal, she realizes that the baby was also stabbed through as well.
Yeah.
The baby immediately turns bright blue.
It's very dead very quickly, innit?
It turns into a clay baby.
Yeah, it goes from living baby to this baby's been dead for a week in the space of 20, not even that, 5 minutes.
It's very, very quick.
It's very quick.
And she tries to use some magic on the baby to try and get it back to life.
Doesn't work.
Nothing happens right
Like I said, it's very dead. Not just a little bit.
It's been dead for a week. God. Yeah. And Yen does the only right thing and buries the baby in the sand right there on the beach.
And then, of course, instead of saying any words, she just starts using the dead baby as a therapist.
Exactly. Talking about her own problems and her own life. I envy you, you know? It's like, I'm in this world and you didn't know. And you probably living in this world would have been a bad thing anyway. You probably would have grown up to be X, Y, and Z because you're a girl.
Right.
And it's like, this baby's had enough. Can you not leave it alone?
Yeah, do you mind? Also, it's a bit weird because everything Yen says is probably a fair critique of someone living in the world, right?
Yes.
Someone, like a peasant girl. But Yennefer of Vengerberg is one of the most powerful people on the planet. She's one of the most powerful mages that exist. Mm-hmm. We know also at this point, because she complains in the carriage that she spent 3 decades at court. Mm-hmm. So it's been 30 years, she hasn't aged a day. She hasn't aged a day in 30 years. Because again, witches are very long-lived because they use magic to extend their lives. And the more powerful they are, the longer they can live. Yen's going to live a long, long time. She's a very powerful person, both in terms of her magical ability and in terms of the influence she has on the world. So I don't buy her things like, oh, well, you're a girl after all. Like, Yen, you're a girl.
Could have turned out to be just like you.
No, but exactly. No one at Aretusa cares that you're a girl. They care that you have power.
Yeah.
And that ultimately is the point here because, you're a girl, blah, blah, blah. Queen Calanthe?
Yeah.
Warrior queen. No one bats an eyelid. And she complains that she has to navigate these dances and do things a certain way. And Geralt even says, like, I bet you're quite experienced navigating these the ways of men or something like that.
Yeah, that
right?
was it.
Like, you act like you're
bound by these rules of men.
But actually you're playing the game really well.
Exactly.
And really her complaint is she doesn't get to do everything she wants the way she wants to do it. But that is also true of every other ruler.
I was going to say everyone, right? There's always rules and things you have to adhere to. Anyway, that's the end of that one there, and that's what she does. We cut back to the marriage feast, and a bunch of noblemen, a bunch of like kings and stuff like that, princes, come along to try and offer themselves to marry Queen. What's her name? Sorry,
Princess Pavetta.
Princess Pavetta. That was it.
The first one is this mousy Italian-looking guy. He looks like he looks like he's supposed to be a mix between like a gangster's no good, like can't get anything right son, and like a freaking just a regular Italian dude, you know, like just a pizza guy.
He doesn't look special at all,
and he's from a place called Nilfgaard.
Never heard of it.
And Queen Calanthe even says, like, Nilfgaard, you're a backwater piece of shit, do nothing, where the usurpers constantly going after the throne. How long will you last? A year? A month? A week?
A day?
Right. Basically, you're too weak and your country's too weak. Get fricked. Go away.
Get out of here. You're not good enough.
Yeah, Nilfgaard's a nobody, do nothing, know nothing, more nothing, go away.
They're just all nothings.
Yeah.
But did you feel, by the way, that she kind of like looked over to Pavetta, and Pavetta didn't obviously like what was going on.
Yeah.
So she kind of said that in response to, because Pavetta wasn't, because she actually does care about her daughter.
I feel like it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
Where she desperately needs this to be, because she says to Pavetta, I think it's just before this, because it's all but certain she's going to marry the red-headed guy.
Okay.
Scraig, something like that. We meet him in the game, I believe, as well. Okay. It's all but certain that's the guy that's going to get it, because her soon-to-be husband, the guy that's the granddad, is also from Skellige. And she says, like, one, he's the key to Sintra having power when I taste clay. Basically, when I'm dead, having Skellige on side is the key to you staying in power and staying safe and not being invaded.
Right.
And then she also says you could do worse. And Pavetta's like, well, no, I could do better. And the way Calanthe looks at it is, but you could do worse. You can fuck whoever you want when you're married. Yeah. Because that's what queens and kings always do.
No one's going to say anything. You're you.
But it's important that you're safe and that power's preserved. And so she's already decided on Skellige, but it's for multiple reasons, and a lot of those are to keep her daughter safe, if not happy.
Yes.
So it's like yeah and no, and like she's doing queenly things, but she's also trying to look after Pavetta.
Yep.
But she has to do things that she won't like, but she's looking after her. But you know, it's like this constant like but.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But.
After a bit of talking, after a bit of discussion, one knight turns up.
Yeah, late.
Starts knocking out guards on the way in. And he's like, I'm sorry for the intrusion. It's like, I don't know if that's going to work. I mean, you can't just like stab a bunch of people and then go, sorry about that.
I don't think he stabs anyone.
He doesn't stab anyone. But
he knocks a few people out, or punches the knights, comes in, he's like, I'm sorry that I'm late, as if he has an invitation.
That's not how that works. That's not how that works right there. And he goes, I'm here to request your daughter's hand in marriage, the marriage of Princess Pavetta. He says he won't take his helmet off because a knight's oath has prevented him from revealing his face.
It's like an anti Cinderella. Like until she's a princess until it strikes 12, and he's like a monster until it strikes 12.
Yeah.
So he's like, I've taken an oath. I can't take it off until midnight.
Yes.
And the granddad guy, who we do quite like, is like, nah, fuck that.
Fuck that shit. Knocks off the hat. And everyone sees
that he's a hedgehog.
He's a hedgehog. He is a hedgehog.
Yeah.
He even snarls at one point, which he didn't do before, which is really strange. Like one.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my god, like what the fuck's up with his face? Even the Witcher like gets to the ready. He's like already braced himself.
He's ready, but he's also very intrigued about what's going on.
He's intrigued, but he's a Witcher. He sees monsters all the time, and this looks very odd. It doesn't look human, so let's see what's happened. But he understands straight away what's going on. The Queen turns to the Witcher and says, "Witcher, kill him.
Kill this beast," I think she says.
Yeah, and he's like, "No." Like, what do you mean no? It's like he's cursed.
That's no monster. He's cursed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not a monster. He's cursed. And that goes against his code that he has right there. But the knight says, I claim what's rightfully mine. Pavetta, by law of surprise, is rightfully mine.
Yeah.
And we're like, law of surprise, what's that?
What is that?
And they they try to explain it sort of as easy as they can for like everyone.
They give the basic backstory, which was he saves the late husband's life. Yes.
Calanthe's
husband's life. He saved in the field of battle or something.
Yes.
And he claimed the law of surprise.
Yes.
And later, we're told... Actually, look, he claims the law of surprise. That's all we know.
Exactly.
But
everyone takes it really seriously. They're like, oh my God.
Yeah, there's a lot of umming and ahhing.
Right?
And Lady... What's her name? Calanthe. Queen Calanthe's like, kill him. And a bunch of guards go to kill him.
Yes.
And he starts fighting with them.
He holds his own for quite a while.
He's kind of a badass.
He's kind of a badass. He starts hitting, but he does take one serious hit to the face. He gets knocked to the ground. And
Geralt steps in.
And then just as he's about to get axed by one of the guys, Geralt comes in, slices the axe in half. He catches it. They look at each other. And then Geralt essentially is on his side and they have another brawl right there. After a bit of fighting, Queen Calanthe's like, stop!
No. So this is at the minute, we're like, okay, wait until enough guards get here, they're going to die. But it changes when Grandad Guy gets involved.
That's true.
Grandad Guy steps up, punches out some of Calanthe's guards, pulls a knife, and points it towards all of Skellige and says like something like, if you intervene, you'll have to deal with the hell dogs of Skellige or something like that. The law of surprise has been called. And it will be upheld. And then he gets into fighting the rest of the guards.
Yeah.
And he's a badass player. We always
he's so cool.
We like Grandad Guy.
Yeah. And then eventually the Queen does break it up. She does break it up. And she does also try to fight some people as well, which is quite funny. Yeah. But everyone tells her that it's destiny. When all the fighting stopped from her. It's like everyone tells her it's destiny and that you shouldn't meddle with destiny.
Grandad Guy, and this is the thing about the law of surprise where he explains it. He says, look, the law of surprise it's sacred and there's no way this guy could have known.
Yeah.
It's just as likely to be
a crop or
a crop or a dog as it is a child of surprise. And they constantly say this phrase, a child of surprise.
Yeah.
And the premise is laid out to us, which is you ask for payment, the law of surprise, any windfall that you return home to that you weren't expecting can be claimed by the person that claimed the law of surprise.
Exactly.
Which could be that you get home and your cat had some kittens. You can have one.
There you go. It could be that. Or it could be, in this case, a baby that he didn't know he had.
Right.
Which was Pavetta. She then, the Queen then, after like everybody saying it's like, yeah, it has to be. Even Mousecrack's like, yeah, this is destiny. You can't remember that. Turns to the Witcher. It's like, what do you believe in destiny? And the Witcher's like, destiny's stupid. It's for people it's to give people false hope. There is an order, but a promise is a promise, and honor by a commoner and by a queen is exactly the same.
Yeah.
So it's like, shit.
Yeah.
She was also hopeful in the beginning. She's like, destiny's bullshit. Right. But honor is honor. It's like,
It's weird because he gets involved and you think, oh, maybe he really respects the law of surprise. No. So why did he get involved? Well, because this is a guy that's been cursed. Because a promise was made and should be upheld, especially by a king or a queen.
Exactly. The Queen then sort of looks around. She's like, all right, I kind of accept this.
She goes to the guy who we do learn that his name is Dooney.
Yes. Don't know what that means. It's a weird name.
She goes to him like, here's your destiny.
Yes.
And then
Shank pulls out. She goes, oh my God. But just as she's about to sink that knife into his chest, everything goes slow motion and Pavetta's like,
starts screaming.
Boom! Everyone gets knocked back. I mean, everyone gets blasted to the nearest wall.
Magic tornado.
Exactly.
Full wind.
Tornado all around them.
Flying
into the air. And she's saying something.
In an ancient magic language.
Whatever language she's saying. She's saying something. Inside, it's like the eye of a hurricane where it's completely
calm
silent.
And they're just floating.
Exactly.
And outside, like, everybody's trying to push through the wind and getting slammed back.
What's going on? It's like, God damn.
Mouse Crack is trying to like magic stuff. You can see like the heat shimmer around his hands, but it's
Yeah.
like getting blown away.
Yeah, it's like the magic's being affected by the tornado. It was
right.
always a magic tornado, so there we go.
Geralt pops a potion.
Yes, we don't know what it is, but he just pops it anyway, and then he goes even
He's just
closer.
an addict, innit?
Yeah, it's just like, you
He's
know
just
what?
a
I need
drunk.
a shot right here.
Right.
So a shot
It's
of this
on
will
his
do
Dutch
good.
courage.
You're telling people it's potion, but really it's not. It's like, it's the finest vodka in the whole
just
of it.
secretly, witches are all just atrocious alcoholics.
And then he pops the potion, and it almost gives him the ability to go forward, like give him a bit more strength to go forward, and he gets almost into like the inner circle of this magic
Yeah.
tornado. And just as he's looking at Pavetta's talking, and suddenly she stops, looks over at Geralt, and Geralt pops like an ard or something like that,
yeah.
and breaks apart the magic
Yeah.
that's going on, and everyone's cool for a moment. What happens then?
The room, all the lights, by the way, blew out.
Yes.
And
Do you believe in destiny now? So, somebody looks over to the queen. Like, do you believe in destiny now? I was like, oh,
why don't you pick a better moment?
now's the time for I
Dick.
told you so.
Right. And she says to Princess Pavetta, I thought your grandmother's gift had skipped you like it had skipped me. Something like
Yes.
that. So she's not,
But I guess I was wrong.
yeah, she's not completely surprised by what she can do, which is
Exactly.
weird. And then she says there'll be 2 vows taken tonight.
Yes.
Pavetta and Dooney, I've accepted destiny, and me and Grandad Guy.
I do have to say the granddad guy and thing, while they are like, you know, they're together and whatnot, right?
It's obvious they'd be banging.
It's funny because it's almost like he takes his opportunity right here. He's like,
Yeah. If he says
pauses
it, then
and-
she can't say no. innit?
exactly, at this moment she can't say no. He's like, and the queen has accepted my offer of hand in marriage. It's like,
We were just fuck buddies, bro.
all right, I guess. God damn it, I'm gonna have to give up half of my bed.
And it's only a queen size.
Oh, damn it, no. Anyway, they are like, we're gonna have 2 vows here
Yeah.
today, and she agrees that they're gonna get married, and
Yeah,
they
they
do.
go through the marriage, and the queen says, "Oh, hey, you have my blessing,
Yeah.
happy marriage or whatever."
Happy marriage.
And immediately, Hedgehog Guy starts like coughing.
It's like, what the fuck is up with him? Does anyone know hedgehog medicine? Does anyone know hedgehog
Is anybody
medicine?
a vet?
Is anyone a vet in here? And then he starts coughing, but then eventually he gets up and he's human again.
Yeah.
The curse has been lifted. Your blessing of this union, my queen, has lifted the curse.
That's it.
Everything's great. She doesn't even have to worry about any embarrassment to the family now. It's
Or-
great.
The real issue, Pavetta having kids.
True. What
You
are those
know,
kids going to be like?
Unless
oh,
she lays
thank God.
eggs, this is going to really hurt.
Exactly.
Laying eggs is going to really hurt.
Or maybe it's like a hedgehog because like one way the spikes lay down, but if there's any resistance to go the other way, it's like Good. Anyway, so that happens, and Geralt's like, okay, well that's everything done. Then
Cool.
I can head out then.
Wait, Witcher, before you go, you saved my life.
You can't leave.
I must repay it. I can't start this union with, a favor hanging over my head. Let me repay you.
It's like you've proven yourself to be the kind of man who would do the same. I want nothing.
I want
and it's like, do not do me a service. I cannot start a new life in the shadow of death. Please. And he's like, fine.
Kind of trying to be ironic and poetic. It's
Exactly.
Like, I claim the law of surprise.
I claim the tradition as you have, the law of surprise. And while he's saying it, everyone's like,
no! Calanthe's immediately like, no! Bail! Abort mission!
We just got out of this.
He says the full thing. He says like, I claim the law of surprise,
Yeah.
that which you have but do not know,
Yeah.
something, I want that.
Yeah.
And she's like, Witcher, what have you done? He's like, it'll be fine. And then-
He's like, relax. He's like, relax, guys. Do you know the next words?
No.
He goes, if I'm ever seen in your kingdom again, it'll be to kill a real monster, not lay claim to a new crop or a pup. Destiny can go
That's it.
and everyone's like, Professor, are you? And then they all look over to Geralt all at the same time. And it's just like, fuck. Then he just walks out.
He just leaves.
It's like, fuck. God damn it, what did I do?
Fuck.
What did I do?
The thing that bothers me though is the first time we meet Calanthe, she's like, Destiny, it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
But we know for a fact she's been involved in this exact same Law of Surprise Destiny bullshit.
Yeah.
What? What? That for me is the thing that one of the things that made it so hard to track the time skip stuff, because we knew that she had experience with the Law of Surprise and Destiny.
Yeah.
She knows Destiny's a thing, at least in the case of this one thing,
Yeah.
this bloodline, but doesn't take it seriously at the beginning. Like, so where are we in the timeline?
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird.
It is a weird one. The only thing that happens after that is that he tries to leave, and Mousequack comes along and goes, "Your life is like bonded to this girl now. This child, because you don't know it's a girl." It's like, I don't believe in destiny. You know it's not destiny. It's like, after you've seen what's in there, it's like, that was just a girl with magical powers that didn't know how to control it.
Trying to stop her mother killing her lover.
Exactly.
You know.
And Mousequack goes, "I'm gonna stay and I'm gonna train Pavetta. I'm gonna keep an eye on her, make sure like her powers go correctly and stuff like that." And that's why we see Mousequack later on with the Queen, and Geralt leaves. The only thing we have left is that we cut then immediately to the present day.
Yeah, so as Geralt leaves, we see like shot of Sintra.
Yes.
And it's like then, and it looks fine. And then a flag goes past, and it's present day. It's on fire,
Everything.
smoke, the lot.
Right after the war, after Nilfgaard have attacked.
And a lot of stuff must have burnt because there's a ton of ash over everything.
Yes.
And someone finds Queen Calanthe's body, kicks it over. They realise that it's her.
Yes.
And it turns out Fringilla been getting in some real dark blood magic shit. Somebody
There's like 4 guys that come along with her.
And like someone cuts a section of skin off of her arm.
Hefty piece.
A big old chunk. Munches it. Starts having like a fit. And Fringilla just pulls out a dagger and shanks him in the guts.
And then looks down and it's like,
She starts reading his guts.
series in the forest of Brooklyn,
Brookburn or whatever it was.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Noin noin?
Noin. And I'm just like, there's got to be a better way to do this.
Yeah. Google Maps.
That guy was like
Find my
alive for like
phone.
25 years and you just murked him just so you can find out the location of someone.
And
Got to be a better
also,
way.
when was that lesson covered in the Hogwarts that
Right.
we saw? Like, they had gardening, they had reading each other's minds. Where was the blood magic?
Right.
Where was this Fringilla?
It's like Fringilla, Mother Miranda.
Yeah.
She tells her, Fringilla, come to the head of the class. I'm going to teach you a new thing today.
Yeah.
And Sabrina, come over here.
Yeah. Oh, one of you go hide in a broom closet somewhere.
And like, cut a chunk of Sabrina's arm out, please. Thank you very much. And eat it. And then shank her in the stomach and do whatever you got to do.
Right. Don't worry, she was going to be an eel anyway.
It's fine. We're going to turn her into an eel. It's cool. No problem. Yeah, it's very, very, very mad right there.
It's dark. Also, and this is one of the things I kind of, they go towards making, I forget his name, the dude with the shitty helmet from Nilfgaard.
Yeah.
She says he's in
Brooklyn Forest.
Brooklyn Forest or wherever, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And one of the guys says, we can give 10,000 men, 12,000 even. And he goes, no, force is not how you get into Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
He even calls him an idiot. Yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He even calls him an idiot. It's like, idiot. That's not how you get into the Brooklyn Forest. And then he's just like, damn, as if like you can't get in there. It's impossible to get in there any other way than being invited or tranced in there. I don't know what I mean.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, we never really told why Ciri goes in there in the first place.
I've got a pass, I promise.
Yeah, it's odd. What happens next?
Then we have just the final scene, which is Ciri drinks some of the treasures.
Yeah, no. So the lady, the leader of the Dryads. Do we ever know her name?
I don't think so.
She tells Ciri, drink the water.
Yep.
And she does.
Yeah.
And then she's like, nothing happened. And the chick's like, something calls to you. Like, shit, that didn't work. We got to go to the next one. They go to a tree that's again backlit by something way too low to be the sun, but looks exactly like the sun. And she's like, come here. And there looks a bit like this wound on the tree.
Yeah.
She cuts it open and it jizzes into Ciri's hands.
Yes,
And
very much semen.
A very well-known fact, it's always safe to drink milky sap. Anytime you see a plant with milky sap, you can drink that. That is 100% not poison.
No, not at all. That's definitely not the common thing in nature.
Right. She drinks that and then it just cuts, right?
And that's it. That's the end of the episode.
The whole tree jizz and...
I guess it's what happens in
the
Brooklyn.
tree was like, you picked my flower genitals. Now try...
Don't worry, what happens in the Brooklyn Forest stays in the Brooklyn Forest. You know what I'm
Noi
saying?
noise.
Noi noise. I like that as a good one. And that is the end of the episode, guys. It was good. There was a lot of cool stuff in it.
Yep.
It wasn't like the Striga fight or anything like that, but I liked the stuff with the marriage dinner and the politics of it, and also how Geralt is just a big badass and he doesn't matter who the fuck tells him to do what.
Yeah, there's a good bit of comedy as well. Like we did miss it, but it doesn't make it matter really for the episode. But one of the husbands of someone recognizes Jaskier and he's like, "Drop your trousers." Well, I didn't look at his face, but I recognized that pimply ass anywhere. And then Geralt comes over and tells this lie about how Jaskier was kicked in the balls as a kid.
Yeah.
Which is why he's like so soft-faced is the thing. And the guy's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Here, take this for your troubles, eunuch."
Sorry, eunuch. Take this for your troubles. And then Jaskier's probably pissed. He's like, now people are going to think that I'm a eunuch. It's like,
well, I saved your life.
What, do you want to be alive? Or
Yeah, it's quite funny.
Yeah.
It's very funny. So there's good comedy there. The fight with Dooney near the end is a pretty good fight.
Yeah.
It's good.
Very cool.
I like Granddad Guy who gets involved and how seriously he takes it. And he explains it. He's like, this is fate. It's just as likely to be rewarded as a crop or a pup as with a child or something like it,
Yeah.
and it must be respected. There's no way this guy could know it. It was called, it was taken, it must be respected. And, He takes it seriously, man. You don't frick with destiny.
Yeah. It's a shame he gets shot in the eye with an arrow later.
Exactly.
Because he's so cool.
He is very cool.
Let's kick over to our boys who wrote in to patreon.com/conversations, just like you guys can.
For as little as $1 a month.
For little as $1 a month.
You get early access to the True Gaming podcast and the Patreon exclusive Conversations podcast. So it's a good place to be.
That's right. Adam Sunling writes in and he says a word that I don't know. How do you pronounce seed mill?
Nope.
Chemil.
Say it in the way you're most sure is going to be insulting.
K-mill. KD-mill.
Chamomile.
Chamomile tea.
Chamomile
rub.
On Geralt's bottom.
Those words that you wrote right there. Another Diogo-like essay. I'll try and keep this one shorter than the last one, though. Before anything else, short note, the person you two idiots are calling Mother Miranda, among other things, is actually Tissaia de Veris.
Agatha. It was Agatha.
Agatha all along. It was. That's what he says right here. She is the rectoress of Artusa.
Aretusa, yeah.
Aretusa, that's it. I'm great with names. Also, for Sheps saying witches have a high sex drive isn't necessarily true, at least not for the books. Geralt just has a thing for women. I mean, I feel like we all have a thing for women. Is that strictly Geralt thing?
I'm not sure you can just say
such a
Geralt.
unique character.
Yeah.
Mostly sorceresses. I can name 4 sorceresses whom he slept with in the books. Yep. Eddie, I don't think you got Javi's dear friend reference from the last episode. Maybe I didn't. And no, I won't explain it.
Well, thanks for letting us know.
Adam, man, are you just the worst person in the world? Yes, there you go. Yes, he is. Okay. The Brooklyn part, I intentionally read that wrong. The Brooklyn part is easily one of my favorite parts of the whole show. Really? That's
I thought
interesting.
It was one of the weakest parts of...
Maybe there's something he knows more about, like the backstory rather than the thing. Let's see what he says. Of the show, because of how they butchered one of the best short stories in the books. Not only just by a little bit, but by a whole entire Brooklyn arc. Short book spoiler ahead. In the books, Geralt and Ciri first meet in the Brooklyn Forest. And in the show, they just cut that part entirely. End of book spoiler. Why are the Dryads armed with spears and crossbows and not regular bows?
There's no reason. That's something that bugs me. Well, there's no reason for them to look like cave people.
No,
the Dryads are a regular people. They just happen to live in a magically protected part of the forest. They would have swords and bows and stuff. They would. Also, the Dryads don't even look like Dryads, he says. That's true.
Why is Dandelion in Sintra? Yes, Dandelion, not Jaskier. If he is referred to by his Polish name, why isn't everyone else? He's not supposed to be here. Also, a minor annoyance of mine is Calanthe's hair's blonde/ashen and not brown, like Pavetta and Ciri. That's a good point, actually. It's a bit of a different hair color and supposed to be a daughter. daughter.
Well, so my take on that is because they both have the gift.
Possibly.
That's why they have the platinum blonde.
Possibly.
Yeah.
That could be a good telltale sign. Her daughter and granddaughter. The show also managed to completely change and fuck up a question of price part of the episode, the Sintra part. A question of price part. Oh, I guess that's a part in the book that he's talking about, the Sintra part. So they completely fucked up the Sintra part, apparently. Don't have too much to say about Yennefer's part in this episode, other than it's all made up for the show and not present in the books. Vafali.
I don't know.
I'm imagining it's something in Swedish.
Probably.
So, Vafali.
The thing with Yen's stuff is we don't really get an origin story for Yen. As far as I only read like one or two other books. We meet Yen, and she's Yennefer of Venneberg, the sorceress, the witch. So they're going through like Yen as a character to get her to the point where we meet her. Because no one's invested in a character that we meet fully fledged.
Yeah.
Or even Geralt, we don't meet. We meet Geralt before he's the Butcher of Blaviken. You know, so I think that's why they're doing it. The other thing is like Yennefer's incredibly powerful, but then she's having trouble dealing with a bug.
Yeah.
So it's a bit odd. But then they're purposely like, okay, well, it's not that she can't kill the bug and the guy. She's trying to specifically protect the baby and the queen.
Yeah.
So she's trying to get them away. Of course, portaling away is a good idea. But how can he follow? You can't follow a portal, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's that conundrum. And again, I think as well, it builds up to why we would meet her, why she would go towards the Jinn. We're starting to see that it's been 30 years and getting power hasn't been the all that she hoped it would be.
Right.
That she's still having to deal with petty people and their petty stuff. That she's not really having the influence in the world that maybe she made up in her head. And that's why she has that not complaining, but there's like, I love that I gave all this stuff to ride in a carriage with you, whining about having babies, you know? I love that it's been 30 years. Again, we learn a little bit about her. It's been 30 years. She hasn't aged a day.
Yeah.
We're learning a bit more about her, but I mean, her parts are fine. I think they're not, it's not book accurate.
I think it's a tough one as well, because they have to, it's hard to show someone is powerful just from the get-go, because then it runs the risk of being like a Mary Sue at the end of the day. So I think that's what they're trying to do in the show, is that they're trying to show some sort of progression, even if it's not too much of like a power progression. Because in the last episode, she's massively powerful.
Yeah.
And I think they're trying to show progression towards that.
Yeah,
and that's why this beginning part's going to seem weird.
In a book as well, you get people's inner monologues and stuff.
Yeah.
Or they do it this way or that way, and you know you're told like they say this nervously or whatever, right? You don't get that. They have to act it, maybe you miss it. So it can be really hard to tell those things visually, and it's certainly very clunky to do it in exposition.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with them doing some off script like Yen origin story stuff. But also, like, you know, we see that she's a hunchback in the books. Geralt randomly reads her mind, even though that's something he can't do.
Yeah, it's a bit strange one, right?
Yeah, they're like looking into each other's eyes, and it's at least in my translation was very clunky. He's like looking into her eyes, sees her for who she really is, immediately knows she's a hunchback, and then like just blocks that information off in his mind and deletes it.
Odd.
It's weird. It's not very well done. At least
Adam,
my
you're gonna have
translation
to let
was
us
very
know
clunky.
about that, because I don't know anything about it. But was that as jarring for you as it was? As well?
That's how they sort of describe it in the book. It's odd. Yen's stuff again, like it's not exactly book accurate, but none of this is going to be exactly book accurate, and it's not game accurate either. And I'd say there's much more people who are fans of the game than the books.
Yeah,
and I would argue that those people are as equally passionate about each.
Yeah.
And this isn't accurate to either.
I think we just have to accept it as its own thing.
I mean, Henry Cavill looks wrong for Geralt. He's too tall. He's a bit too tall, I believe, and he's way too muscular.
No one has ever said that about Henry Cavill ever.
Like,
no, I know what you mean.
But don't get me wrong, I actually love him. I think he does an incredible job as Geralt. But there's a bunch of things that he doesn't exactly fit the role for. He'd probably be a better cast for what's the guy's name? Talk amongst yourselves.
While you do that, let me read out Car56's comment.
Yeah.
He wrote into our Discord server, just like you guys can, by clicking the link in the description. And he says, each week I get more and more hooked. It's getting harder not to binge the rest of the show. But specifically for this episode, I was glad to see the Bard return, probably because the toss a coin to your Witcher song goes through my head all day, every day. And the other stuff was cool to see too. As this is my first time watching, I'm starting to notice it all together, all tying together, I should say, right there. Thank you so much for joining us each week doing that, bro. That's really awesome. And also, Guacamole asked, how big do you think Geralt's cock is? And Superwell Ben says, if it's not the optimal 1.8 inches, can he even call himself a real man? At least he's got 6 foot status going for him, so he's halfway there.
The Witcher I was thinking of is Letho. So in the books, and I think in the game at one point, but definitely in the books, this guy's described as being a mountain of meat. He's fucking yoked.
That's what the missus calls me.
Yeah, he's freaking yoked, and he causes Geralt a lot of trouble. Basically, frames him for a murder.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's rough. And at the beginning of The Witcher 3, depending on the options that you pick, when that guy's asking you, "Oh, you did this thing. What did you do?" If you say I'm not going to tell you what you can do because I guess it's a 5-year-old game. If you say
it's an older game.
Yeah, if you say you let him go, he can appear in the game.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's very cool when you meet him again.
Interesting.
It's very cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's all the comments that we have for this episode. Thank you all for joining us for another one.
Yeah.
We'll catch you guys all on the next episode where we'll be reviewing. It just came out, apparently.
What? This
Unbelievable.
Is great timing.
And the next episode is probably, it's unbelievable how that happened. Episode 5 already. It's
crazy.
Strange. We are running close as well to Loki as well. The next episode will be episode 5. And is there 8 episodes?
Yeah, I think there's 8. We're going to do
the last 2 episodes.
Last 2, so episode 7 and 8 combined
double
one
feature.
Yeah, double feature.
But yeah, watch next episode and come back here to enjoy another episode of Streamcast, right? All right, guys, we'll catch you all in the next one, bro. I'll catch you in the next one. Let's go.
Why do
Odd.
No.
All right. When he did his what was the thing? Axie. He went like this, and I was like,
he went. He's asking for pizza. Hey, mamma mia!
Mamma mia! Va for Napoli.
Luigi. I'm a number Juan.
Mario!
Mario!
That was such a... Luigi's Mansion is so good. Anyway.